Hey everyone, it is Tasty Taste from Blood of Kittens, and in this week's episode, we're going to talk about the top 10 armies of June 2022. Right after this, quick intro. Hello everyone. In this video, we take a quick look at the top 10 Warhammer 40k armies for the month of June 2022. But before we jump in, here are some ground rules on how we determine what armies are the best. First, we take any ITC event with at least 28 players and 5 rounds. Second, we add up the top 3 lists from those tournaments, taking into account lists using multiple factions. Then we compare this to the previous month's results. Mixing it all in, we then get the top 10 Warhammer 40k armies for the month. As for June, we saw 29 events with 87 total lists. So with that, let's get started. At number 1 and holding on for the second consecutive month are the Tyranids, with 31 lists and still sporting that 60% win rate. This comes as no surprise with just how powerful this army is. Not much changed with this army from the previous month, with some lists moving away from big bugs to more gaunts. Still, the month ended with tons of nerfs for this faction, so expect them to fall from number 1 in the next couple months. Holding on to number 2 with 12 lists are the Aeldari. The Aeldari sit at number 2 for the second month in a row as well, thanks to the help of players quote-unquote rediscovering that Harlequins are still pretty darn good. Lists saw the Murder Clowns take the point increases in stride with their core abilities unchanged. Unlike Tyranids, only a few changes are coming to this faction, so don't expect them to fall too far off from number 2. Moving up 3 spaces to number 3 is the Tau Empire with 10 lists. Tau players decided to double down on crisis suits, with crushing lists running upwards of 20 crisis bodies. Tau lists also featured a lot more hammerheads, with long strike being present in many top lists. With the Nephilim changes and point increases, expect Tau to still perform pretty well, but they will have to rely more on vehicle spam to make up for the loss of those crisis suits. Falling 1 spot to number 4 are the Adepta Sororitas with 6 lists. Thanks to Armor of Contempt and the nasty that is the Order of the Bloody Rose, the Sisters of Battle were in a perfect place to win events. Scary even more is Nephilim only made them that much more gross with point decreases and nerfs to their competitors. Expect this faction to move up in the rankings only if the top players have the models to make this army work. Next, as a little bit of a surprise, breaking into the top 10 for the first time, at number 5 we have the Imperial Knights with 6 lists. Which, if you asked only a couple months ago the most competitive players, they would have picked Chaos Knights as the better of the 2 knight factions. Imperial Knights are helped by great relics, warlord traits, and the synergies that come with it. It will be interesting to see how the CP reductions will affect this army in the months to come, as it might be too hard to get all the relics and traits you need to make this army work. Falling 2 places to 6th place with 3 lists are the Adeptus Custodes. Slowly but surely, the Custodes are moving farther and farther back in the meta ratings. This has forced Custodes players to adapt by putting more reliance on troop span and putting in the Praetor to be the linchpin of making this army at all playable. Sadly, Games Workshop wasn't done hitting this army, with even more point increases, this time to Trajan and the Forge World Dreadnoughts, making it even harder to make an efficient Custodes list. At 7th place and holding steady are the Drukhari with 3 lists. Drukhari lists still love their grotesques and racks, but slowly seeping back in are more vehicles like Ravengers, Raiders, and Venoms. Drukhari could see even more play as they come out pretty unscathed from the latest chapter approved, and along with some point reductions, you could see units like Witches on the board very soon. As well, not moving in the rankings are the Grey Knights at number 8 with 3 lists. Grey Knight players have really started to move away from Dread Knight spam and focusing more on bodies to take the full advantage of the Armor of Contempt rule, with Paladins making more and more of an appearance. Thanks to nerfs to other armies above them, Grey Knights should continue to perform pretty well in the new meta. Coming in at 9th and for the first time in the top 10 are the Black Templars with 3 lists. Either it was by random chance or actual playability, Black Templars were able to grab a few podiums thanks to a core of a powerful named characters and the synergies that grow from them. Black Templars also rely on a host of great relics, so it'll be interesting to see how the new Nephilim changes affect this army and if they still can continue to place at all in the top 10. Last but not least, moving down 4 spots to 10th are the Chaos Knights with 2 lists. Sadly, Chaos Knights are a case of high expectations that seem to have fallen flat. On paper, this army should be pretty good as any army, as they are hard counters to some of the more powerful factions. But as it turns out, it just doesn't look like the case. The CP changes for relics and warlord traits should eat also into this faction even more, meaning that they most likely fall out of the top 10 next month. There you have it, the top 10 Warhammer 40k armies for June 2022. Falling out of the top 10 from May were the Space Wolves and Dark Angels. July is the month we will see all the chapter approve and point changes take full effect, meaning a lot of new armies could break through into the top 10. As always, if you want to see more of this content, please leave a comment, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and bell icon. Thanks again for watching.